to let you in.
There was Guardians of the Galaxy too. That was a really dirty movie.
No matter where I travel to.
I'm just like, no!
How old is
You know!
You just wait for me.
But I was scrolling and it was like a video of him in a dark room. You can't see his face. I'm like, all right. And the caption was like, I'm apologizing. Like,
Could
who
I
jumped
ever
in?
be
Ooh, baby.
everything
And
you
it was
need? If I promise you my love, could that promise be in love? Would you wait for me? Would you wait for me?
Hola, señoras and señoritas. Feliz Cinco de Mayo. It's a Cinco de Mayo podcast. Today with me I have Senor Nick, Senor Jack. I'm your host, Senor Falone, and this is the Humor Tower Times podcast, or as we like to call it here on the internet, HTTP. So, today we're going to be talking about all sorts of things, so just keep in mind that our conversation will go all over, and if you see me looking at my phone, it's just because I have my notes on them. That being said, let's get right into it. So, one of the things that I was thinking about was just the fact that no one actually really, or at least, other than white people drinking tequila, no one really knows why you're celebrating Cinco de Mayo.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
It's absolutely not.
So, so I was thinking about it today, and I looked it up. So it's the Battle of Puebla, which was when France invaded Mexico, because Mexico didn't want to pay its debts, like China will in a couple of years, but no, like Mexico didn't want to pay its debts after the Mexican-American War. So then they got invaded by France and Spain and England all at once. But then England and Spain are like, whoa, France is just trying to take over Mexico. They don't want their money back. So then they pulled out. And so then it was just left to France. But then so France goes in, and the Mexican army is hiding in like the fort. And so then the French army is coming, and they beat them. They kill like 1/6 of the whole French army right there.
The
So then-
Mexican army?
Yeah. So Cinco de Mayo is celebrating the Battle of Puebla. And actually, it's not a big celebration at all in Mexico. They only celebrate it in Puebla because then France goes on to beat Mexico in the war and like take over the country. So
France took over Mexico?
yeah, they put in Emperor Maximilian for like 10 years.
What? When was
Mexico then
this?
takes over our country.
Yeah. Then Mexico invades. Immigration reform.
They're attacking us and our jobs.
You know, I was at a food kitchen once, with like my church. It was like I was getting confirmed, so we had to do stuff, and I was serving food, and a guy comes in, and he goes, "If you're in the nation, speak the effing language," on his shirt. I'm like, we're here to like be nice and helpful. I feel like, we'll serve anyone, but you, not so sure.
Yeah.
I guess that's sort of the things with like nativism. It's like even if you aren't doing well, then you want to feel like you're better than other people.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, who can declare, like, obviously English is like our national language,
Yeah.
but like in the founding of America, like there were different countries besides England.
With like
and
a nation of
we weren't
immigrants.
even the natives.
Yeah.
Well, not we, but
Yeah,
like,
we weren't
like
the first ones here.
like American Indians were
I was
not
here.
speaking English. Like,
Yeah.
I was here.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Nick was here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now it's clear.
The OG American, Nick.
Yeah. The Native American. There was like a political party once called like the Native, or that was like centered around like being Native American, and I was so confused. I was like, wait, there's a political party for like the natives too? But then I realized it was like the people who like came over on the Mayflower. They were like all defensive. About
There's a whole club. It's like the Daughters of the American Revolution. To join that, you have to prove that like somewhere back one of your ancestors was in the Revolutionary War. It's like who cares? Exactly.
We're
It's
a
like
nation of immigrants.
it's like you know how Mensa, you have to have a certain IQ to get in. Apparently, Mensa is all like people with really just terrible jobs, like factory workers and stuff. Because like I guess that's the reason you want to join a group that makes you look smart, is because you have a job that doesn't. Like people that like have good jobs and everything, they don't care.
Rather than just
like
like
being a biomedical engineer already means that you're smart or something. God, I don't think I could ever work in a factory for like 8 hours a day, or even just like an office, like a factory, like on a production line. I'm just like tuning 5 bolts. It'd be like tough.
I don't know, it'd be like you had nothing else to do.
Yeah. Like I definitely
It would get
understand.
old after like a year. Otherwise it could be kind of interesting.
It'd be a bit tedious.
Yeah,
I mean, like sweatshops and stuff where they literally like make the same product.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like what if you had to go every
that's
day for like
boring.
from when you're like 5 to 17 to like a building where they made you do really tedious like repetitive things every day for 7 hours.
So you mean like the child labor and like
Like-
Bangladesh, that?
like
No,
just
I
like
mean,
word
no,
sheets, like the
guys,
same
guys, I mean, like
repetitive
they
word
test you on it,
sheets.
like they test
Like,
you on it.
they'll test you
Yeah.
on it and evaluate it.
They
That'd be a
evaluate-
terrible
they give
system.
you like letters.
Oh,
They'd
that sounds
evaluate
awful.
you.
Oh,
God,
Maybe
they'd
even-
rank you above and beneath other
oh,
people.
That's so fascist. Oh,
God.
horrible.
Because I mean, like the whole, writing things repetitive.
I think what we're getting here is that the U.S. Department of Education are all Nazis.
Yeah, you don't learn anything. You just get assessed.
I
all
feel
the
like-
time. Horrible.
I feel like we shouldn't have people learn things.
Think of repetitive stuff. I remember someone asked me once, if you were to just like count, like let's say you get $1 million a month, but you only get it after you're done. If you just sit and count for 12 hours a day at a table in a totally white room with just like fluorescent lights, all you have to do is sit 1, 2, 3, like 12 hours a day. All you can do is count. But you get $1 million a month. How long would you do it for? Like,
I would lose count, but I mean, I figure like if I could do that for 2 months, I'm set for life.
I'd do it for
So,
2 months.
but I don't know.
Kind of a little,
like
I might go insane
Yeah.
before I can make it through.
like
that.
12 hours a day, and then all you do other than that is sleep. Like there's a cot in the corner of the room. You just go sleep.
What about eating?
I guess I don't
I mean,
know.
like,
you have food there or
you
something.
get
before bed,
food
right
days.
when you wake up, and then they
Yeah.
give you like a 10-minute break.
You have
Yeah.
to count your food too. To like count how many
7
peas.
peas,
Yeah.
2 green
I was
beans.
thinking peas too. Crazy.
Yeah. But I feel like half a month. That's like $500,000.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's still like just 14 days of just counting.
Yeah.
Yo.
Tedium is the worst pain according to Grendel. So.
Yeah,
Screw
Grendel
that.
sucks.
Yeah.
Back to the hating on
Sorry.
the U.S. Department of Education.
No, it's Scott.
No.
I like her. Grendel.
You didn't like Grendel?
Didn't get along with it.
Why
You know,
don't
a
you like
lot of
Grendel?
people
I
really like
thought
it.
it was like kind of trying to draw too much meaning out of just this thing that's kind of bumbling
Yeah.
around being.
I don't know. I like Grendel. It's kind of like, I don't know, maybe it's not everybody, but everybody like kind of has like
Obviously,
that
it's not.
like inner desire to be like violent and like kind of just to like say everything's nothing, like nothing means anything. So I don't know.
It's just
I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
maybe you just.
I don't know. A lot of girls that I talked to didn't like it, but then a lot of guys that I talked to liked it. So
Huh. It's interesting. You know-
I'm a girl.
no, but
Hey, we accept you, man. So, what I learned the other day though, was that it takes 2 weeks to count to 1 million, and it takes 56 years to count to 1 billion. That puts so much perspective on it. Like when you hear about billionaires, like the difference between 2 weeks and 56 years, that's insane.
yeah, I don't know. I always lose count whenever I try to count like really high. Whenever I'm like sorting stuff. If I get past like 50, I lose track right away.
And the other thing is, I start second guessing myself. So I like slow down, like make sure.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, well, wait. Since I'm slowing down, did I the one that's in my hand? Did I count it? Did I not?
Yeah, and then there's no way to like reassure yourself that you're okay
Yeah.
because you're just counting.
And imagine if you
unless
went-
you're marking stuff. and
Imagine if
grouping.
at that building we were talking about previously, where we're all, kind of,
Counting.
imagine if they tried to teach abstract mathematical concepts by making you count little like cubes or dots
Or coins.
or coins.
Or dice, but dice are too fun, so they won't allow you to call them that. Random number generators. Number cubes. You remember that back in middle school? We had a
thing.
math problem in middle school, and it went like, use your random number generator. We were like, what's a random number generator? And Miss Cup was like, oh, they mean dice, but we're not allowed to say dice because dice encourages gambling.
Yeah, dice.
Oh, it
you
does.
don't gambling,
Yeah.
which is
I've never played a
Wait.
game with dice that doesn't that
involves
Hey, man.
CD
gambling,
people.
I've lost thousands on Yahtzee. Okay, it's a serious problem.
I don't even know
Wait,
how to spell Yahtzee.
But is dice like that's not at all gambling? I mean, I
Yeah,
guess it's
yeah.
gambling affiliated, but it doesn't symbolize gambling as a whole. Like,
It's dumb.
that's
It's so dumb.
That's silly. Leckerli. That's a good
That's
German word.
German word. Speaking of German words and sitting in buildings for long hours doing tedious things,
Show me.
AP exams are coming up.
Yeah.
The whole AP system is a little weird because I feel like it should just be like, not AP classes, just like advanced classes because it's all for college placement tests. You know,
Yeah.
like AP scores count, but what I think makes more sense, instead of like always teaching to the test and like having to deal with very specific like categories and everything, just like working on really just mastering the subject. Like have like 3 years where you just like learn all the material, and 1 year where you just work on mastery. You
That's
know?
what they have in like certain countries in South America, like in Ecuador, they actually major in high school. You
Yeah.
get a major, it's like really broad, like science or history or something, but it still gives you more of a specialization.
Yeah, like in the last year, you could do like a huge project, like either writing a big paper or like doing something German related or I don't know, like math related, whatever class you're taking. Because then I feel like you'd learn more. It's like I feel like I've learned a lot in all of my AP classes, but at the same time, so much of it is just focused on like the AP test and preparing for that, and then it'll be done, and then I mean, I'm feeling like I'm gonna check out all get out,
Yeah.
after these
I feel like
exams.
I feel almost done.
Yeah,
I mean, I
totally.
won't object though, because like you can save a lot of money with like AP
Oh, yeah.
exams, like not having to take those credits in college.
Yeah,
like,
And like, much as I hate more tests, I feel like if you got rid of like all AP tests and everything, you just went with like a placement test for every subject in college.
yeah.
Because like every college is different. So instead of like one exam for the whole nation, I mean, I guess that makes it fair for everyone across the nation. But at the same time, also then it's like, I don't know, if your college is really science heavy and you aren't as strong in science, or maybe you're medium strong in science, you still don't want to be put into like a regular science class if you aren't like really strong in it or something.
There's ways to get around that.
Yeah.
The other thing where it's not as fair is where you get schools with worse prepared teachers.
Yeah.
Or just
Yeah, that's the other thing, like schools where they just take a class and then it's like, well, now you take the AP exam instead of it being like a specific AP class.
this isn't funny. Let's pick a new topic.
God,
This is
he's
getting-
killing it.
It's getting depressing.
It is getting depressing, you're right. Like, Alabama,
What are you laughing at?
bringing down our curve.
Laughing just to acknowledge it.
You're gonna acknowledge our audience, it's all good.
We have a live audience here.
Yeah,
A live
one
studio
person.
audience, you hear some laugh in the back? Yeah, you can't see the light up billboard, but it says laugh, and sometimes they ignore it and we get sad. No. What are the other things I was thinking about with Cinco de Mayo? So it's like, it's Mexico getting independence, going way back to that. I was thinking about topics for today. I was thinking about like just nations getting independence. Tapas, Spanish connection there.
What's tapas?
They're like
No,
just like small plate, but in
plates, yeah.
Spain. Like that's
Like
tapas.
appetizers.
Alright.
Yeah. But I was thinking about like other nations getting independence, like micronations. There was one. It just like sort of was declared a nation, and it was right on the border of I think Bulgaria and Croatia or something. And it was this little like 400 meter stretch of land, like 400 square meters. It's
What?
like
Who?
a part of a football field.
Is it some like rich person that owns it? Or
It was
is
some like
a
political party where
political party. This is seated, and they're like,
They're like,
we're
"You know what,
taking
we're going
this-
to-"
I
This is
Yeah.
400 square meters.
because it was right on the corner of a river, and so like where the river curved around a border or something, and like they never designated that, so they claimed it. But then another tiny
Wait, so it
micronation.
wasn't part of any country.
Exactly, it was just unclaimed
Oh,
land.
so do they now have dual citizenship, or like?
Yeah.
I guess.
Like what
I
happens
guess
now?
you said Bulgaria would be their native country.
Bulgaria or Croatia, yeah, because it was right on the border.
That's two just as bad, no matter which one.
But no, the interesting thing was then other guys are like, no, we claimed this a couple of years ago, the four of us, the four other guys, so our tiny nation, like we removed the terrorists' flag and it had a police roadblock set up. So they just, it's funny. Like, I don't know, I always was fascinated with micronations.
Yeah, I know.
There's like, I can't start the US,
Yeah.
but I could go out and like have my own tiny little nation somewhere.
I mean, I was
That's
really,
cool.
I
They
was
have
so
like a
close
little
to get
war.
it.
Yeah, they should.
Like a little
That's
brawl.
what happened in Sealand. That was where I was so close
Sealand,
to getting
yeah.
a baronship or whatever you call
Yeah.
it.
They almost got like bombed out, right?
No, they actually had this guy, this lawyer in Germany, I think, who believed he was the rightful president. And so he flew a helicopter there with like some mercenaries that he hired, and they actually took over Sealand while the guy was away. And he came back with a shotgun and he drove him out eventually. So that was
No, what was it that happened? Oh yeah, so Sealand. For those who don't know, Sealand is it used to be off the coast of England, and it was a lookout pylon. So it was this big like platform, like a helicopter pad sort of in the middle of the ocean, that they would use to like spot U-boats and air raids.
Yeah, during World War II.
World War II,
right?
yeah. So it was totally abandoned, and a guy and his family moved in. And he was the emperor in the royal family of Sealand, he called it, because England redefined its borders with international waters, and so suddenly it was unclaimed. So, to be a nation, what we learned in government, right? You need people, you need government, and you need recognition. But so they had the people. His family were living there. And it was just a old sort of like military watchtower. But so then to raise money for $50,000, you could buy like a vice emperorship or like a baronship or something.
I think
It was
like,
50 grand.
There's
Yeah.
one that's like really cheap, with $100.
Yeah, Ben Wallace is a lord, I think.
Yeah, where
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He has like a bracelet for
you
it.
get like a
so-
card. I think.
Yeah.
Or
I mean,
Oh.
it doesn't really mean anything. I don't
Probably
think,
to, like,
you
stay there
can
for
go
a
to Sealand and
You probably
no
could,
treatment,
but
I
yeah.
don't know.
But so then, this guy, he came in with like mercenaries, and they like attacked, and they took it over. So then they went and I think he was Austrian and German, maybe German, yeah, I think he was German. But then they went back and they took him captive. They took back their island and took him captive. So then the German government formally asked them to give him back. So they had to have negotiations with the German government. And so then,
that legitimizes.
by negotiating with them as a government, that legitimized them. They got the recognition they needed. So it's
Don't
like a nation.
terrorist groups also negotiate, so
That's the tough thing. Like,
Try.
I don't know.
yeah, like ISIS. Like, is there a nation? Or not?
Well, they just don't have land.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
They're working for it. They're working hard.
It was like that's like uprisings. Like it's weird to think about how almost every nation that formed today formed out of uprising. Like even like Germany, like going way back, or somewhere like England, going way back. Like that nation, part of it was formed out of an uprising against a different
Some sort
government.
of revolution.
But now that we're all established, we all fight against uprisings. Now, I'm not saying that like many uprisings today are good because
Still, they're like
a lot of them are.
the majority.
But yeah. But I look at like the Green Party in the U.S. If they start getting like all militant and uprising, fighting back.
I don't really
Mrs.
think that's like
Lucas
their
is,
policy.
Yeah, it's not really the type, jumping out of the trees, putting on
Yeah,
their
just-
tie-dye headbands and going to war.
Quick footnote, can we put a transition in where I mentioned Mrs. Lucas as a potential, uprising?
As a terrorist.
Miss Lucas, probable Green Party
I like
terrorist.
Mrs. Lucas, she's likely to lead a Green Party. We're gonna have to edit this part. I really want to get an A in that instead. Anyways, moving on.
But like there's some other micronations too. Like there's Malta, which is just a little island in the Mediterranean.
Yeah.
There's there's like the Vatican City. There's San Marco, which is another city in Italy.
What are the governments like?
They're just
They
like,
have their own government.
like I know Monaco, I think is like a
Yeah.
thing.
I was thinking Monaco, but I couldn't think of it.
I
Yeah, it's
remember-
well, they have like car racing, right? Like that's like
Yeah.
what they're famous for.
And they've got like a lot of Monte Carlo is where the casinos are.
How did they become nations?
I think
Like,
we're-
I guess just 'cause like they've historically had like their
Free will
independence.
even though they're just like really small.
Yeah.
plots of land.
So I guess they just either they were always neutral, like Luxembourg. Luxembourg, isn't
Yeah.
like micro, but it's a small country.
Yeah,
that's
it's the
what
smallest real country.
Yeah, like them and Liechtenstein. Although you can rent out Liechtenstein
Yeah.
The
But, like,
entire country.
for the entire country for like, is it 50,000?
Someone actually bought Maui, not Maui, there's an island next to Maui, like,
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
rock.
it's the size.
It's like it's straight up just like a rock.
yeah, but it's
tiny.
apparently there's like some nice areas on one of these islands next
Yeah.
to it, and they bought like the whole thing.
There's a ton of islands in Hawaii that like aren't really used. I
Yeah.
think they're just like wild.
Yeah, in the Philippines and like Indonesia, there's
I read
actually
the other
like
day.
10,000 islands.
There are 2 million islands on Earth. That's insane. That's a lot of islands. I always liked islands for like the same reason I like micronations. I always like the idea of just like having my own entire place.
Yeah.
And like I used to think about like I could go off like live in the country and rough it like upstate, I don't know, like Minnesota, something like
Yeah.
way up in
That's
northern
as
Canada.
cool as,
Wild.
like, roughing it on a beach. Where
Yeah.
Nice.
The thing is though, it's just like after a while I get so bored.
Yeah.
I think historically, it was somewhere in Italy. There's this tiny little nation that was the size of 2 football fields, that like actually was recognized by governments, but they never really had population because all their population became diplomats to the other nations around them. So no one was ever actually sitting there.
Just unproductive nation.
If you could start a nation,
Economy.
where would you start your nation?
I would start it in.
Antarctica, of
With
course.
free
The
space.
most habitable place in the world.
There's actually there's a guy who started his own nation in Milwaukee. He was I was reading about this. So he was a teenager back in like the 70s, and he's like, I want my own nation. So he wanted to create a nation out of his bedroom, he declared his nation to be the city block that he lived on. It was somewhere over by like Kinnickinnick. And then he declared his bedroom the capital. And he sent a letter to the government, like the federal government, state government, everything, and never got a response back. So technically they never denied it. So it's like, yeah,
Wow.
go, have your own nation.
Yeah, I wouldn't respond either.
Yeah.
Republic of Estabrook Park.
You know what I learned yesterday? Speaking of not getting responses, there's a guy who cashed a junk mail check back in like 1996 for $95,000 and got it. So it was like one of those things like earn money quick, like get money. So they sent him like a fake check, but it looked so real. The only thing on the check that didn't look real was in the very top right. It said like not legal for, not legal, like not for real purposes. Yeah, and so then like the entire thing was perfect, and it said like on the letter, look, this is what we made in just 3 weeks of working, $95,000. Become a box packer or something, whatever. So then he goes to the ATM and he puts it in to like to deposit it, and it takes it, and he's thinking, oh, that's funny, some cashier will laugh when they see it, and I'll get a call in 3 days saying that's fake. Well, it never happened. And then he withdrew $50 to like have dinner one night, and he checked his balance, and it was like over $100,000. It's like, what? So then he started like calling with his friends 3 times a day, calling like the number on the phone to check your account just to see for fun. Then he goes and he's asked one of the cashiers if he could move any of the money, like move it around. He's like, yeah. He's like, so are there like any blinking like warnings or anything? Like, can I move it? She's like, no, it's all good. Even though like it's a lot of money to move around, you're fine.
Yeah, they're probably like really confused.
Yeah,
They're
it was
like,
$95,000, like $3.67. Like it was super specific. And so then he went and he wanted to like take it out because he wanted to like separate that fake money from like his money because he knew at some point it would have to go, like the jig would be up. So and he wanted to cash it, but even if it was cashed in all $100 bills, there was no safe deposit box in any bank within like 100 miles that was big enough to hold that many 100s.
So basically, Breaking Bad made that up.
Yeah. So then he had to get a cashier's check for $95,000 and $3.67 or something. So he gets it. He puts that in a safe deposit box, right? And then 31 days later, he gets a call from the bank yelling at him like, "Oh, sorry, you stole money, check fraud. We're gonna have you arrested. Can we drill the box?" He's like, no. Like everyone had to like talk to lawyers and stuff first. Yeah. They're like, well, why are you being uncooperative? We'll have police at your door in 10 minutes. He's like, I'm not being uncooperative. I'm just on vacation right now. I'll be cooperative when I come back. And so then he's like, you know what? They're being mean to me. I'm not gonna let this fly. So he looked in the law and he like looked around. He got like professors and everything. And the top right, like saying that it can't be cashed, doesn't void the check. It's just for the bank to see to reject it. So, and especially, they're required, it's supposed to be 24 hours that they have to rescind it in. So he made $95,000. And so then he checked out, and the bank would have to cover that cost. So that's why the person was all mad and everything.
Did he
so
switch banks?
Well, so he goes like,
tension there.
I'll give it back, and we'll donate it to charity, half and half. And the bank will match it, and I'll give this to charity. And and the bank will just take me out to lunch to apologize. And that's what he said. Like he was on talk shows, he was on Letterman and everything, and the bank just like no. So finally, he sits down with the lawyers and just gets the bank to acknowledge that the money was his, and ended up giving it back. But man, it's hilarious.
Wait, so he didn't even take the money in the end.
But well, no. At the end, when he gave it back to the bank, he had his checks specially printed that said not for like legal use in the top right when he gave it to the bank.
Just to make your life so much harder.
Just to show that like they were real legitimate checks.
Yeah.
Which is funny. When I was walking to school in 7th grade, I found $300 on the ground.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was 3 100s.
I've never found money like that.
I found like 30.
I gave my contact information to like all the people on that block, and then one of them had a contractor come to them and said that he was dropping off his daughter at school and money flew out the door. So he was looking around to see if anyone had found it because there was a lot and he needed to buy tools. So then they referred him to me and I gave him the money back. But still, it was crazy. When you're walking, you're just like, oh, money, nice. Then it turns out to be $300.
Yeah, it's really hard to like give that money back to because it's like cash. Like there's no like
Yeah.
it doesn't have a name on it.
Exactly.
It's just, like, And you can't be like, oh, is this your money? Because then people are gonna be like, oh yeah, that's mine. I dropped that. Like,
Yeah.
there's no really way of telling unless someone's searching for it, and then you're like, oh, I have
You
it.
could put out like found lost cash. Tell me the amount that you lost, and I'll give it back.
Yeah.
And then you pick the exact number.
God.
I don't know. I never really know how much money is exactly in my wallet though.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
I don't know that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those things. You know what? I realized the other day, if we ever go back to a bounty system, like if apocalypse happens,
That'd
you
be
know,
pretty bad.
we're all screwed. We're all like really screwed. It's like we're all training for like a white collar world,
All
like,
we
you know,
have is, like,
being lawyers and
knowledge.
diplomats. We got all this knowledge. Like farmers will rise, you know, like
Yeah.
I got the chickens. You want the chickens? You're gonna work scrubbing my floors.
That's very true. We don't have much to offer.
We have like
raised
and stickers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking
Like
about
somewhere.
I don't know, like apocalypse stuff the other day. I don't know, like it's just cause. And I was thinking about we're screwed when it comes to the suburbs. Cause like if we ever want to like if everything goes to crap and we have to start regrowing like our food and everything, we've literally salted the earth. Like with the highway, with like the roads and the sidewalk and everything, we've salted the earth.
We
Like
can
that
count-
washes off the rainwater into the ground. Like we couldn't grow
We
good
could count
crops.
like the 10 deer that are in the state.
Yeah, and we've already run
And
them all
we do
over
it. We
the
do it
highway.
like Michigan. But that's
There aren't even any more commercial fisheries on Lake Michigan.
Yeah.
It's insane. Yeah, the last one closed down a couple of years ago. It's just there's like not enough fish to operate.
the algae
Pollution.
For real.
Yeah,
And there's also a ton of invasive species,
yeah.
like those, that are destroying the natural.
Like the lampreys and the Asian carp.
The gobies, those
Yeah.
are really bad.
What is those?
They're like these poisonous things from Japan.
Yeah, no, I think you're right.
Japan, or no, maybe somewhere in Africa. I think there's something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like there's, but like the variety of invasive species in the Great Lakes is ridiculous because we just let other countries dump their waste in our Great Lakes, our Great Lakes.
take a ship. You go 100,000 miles.
Dump.
Dump your like
water. It's the water. That's what it is.
Ballast
So
water.
ballast water. Yeah, they'll fill up like when the ship's empty. They have to fill up with water.
The largest freshwater basin in the world has been tainted with is it Lake Erie? That's just
Yeah.
awful. Like it's
What was the one that was?
Why are you laughing at this?
Oh, because I'm working.
One of them caught on fire back in the 70s. I think it was Erie.
Oh,
yeah,
Lake Erie straight up caught on fire.
Yeah, it's just
Like
bad.
that's when a lake catches on fire, that could be an issue.
Yeah, but a lot of the native species are declining in numbers because the gobies, they eat the small fish, but they're because they're poisonous and they have little shockers that if a big fish eats them, they kill the big fish.
Whoa.
And they're nasty too. And so but you're not supposed to kill them if you catch them fishing. You're supposed to take them to a center where they'll get analyzed or whatever. But I was I guess this might be criminal activity, but I was fishing in in Michigan 2 years ago, and we were just killing every goby we got. We were take that, this is for
species.
the
We're getting back at you.
Yeah.
The carp.
I learned about this tiny 1 centimeter big jellyfish that they have in Australia the other day, and you're talking about with the stingers. This one, it's got a 1 meter long stinger tentacle. It's huge, and when you get stung by it, not only do you have cardiac arrest and super pain and paralysis and everything, you also get this psychological syndrome that you get this sense of impending doom, where it's it's all gonna end. I'm gonna die. It messes with your brain, the poison in it.
So does it just kill you immediately?
I think most people die.
Just right away?
Yeah.
There's some plant in Australia that's native to only one area of Australia where if you get if you touch it, it's like a poison ivy, except it actually is so painful that it will drive most people to suicide.
That's insane.
It's so bad.
God. It's incredible that we've survived as long as humans.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's just,
we're good at expanding and everything.
it's just scale, yeah.
Yeah.
And technology.
There's so much stuff out there that should screw us. Like bears. Bears should be the end of all humans. The cave bears should have eaten us 5,000 years ago.
We got the knowledge there.
Yeah.
That's
True.
Thumbs.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were opposable thumbs. If you were gonna pick another species to evolve, what would it be? Humans end up killing each other in a nuclear wasteland. What's gonna evolve next?
I don't know, but okay, have you ever been to the Milwaukee Public Museum where they have the calendar map that was supposed to be evolution of the universe
Yeah.
and stuff? like I looked at that with my brother and like another friend of mine for probably like 30 minutes, and we were just thinking like what if like our era is just like gonna be another square someday, or like stuff like that. Like what if like we still look like unconscious humans to like the next species that like takes over the Well, then I was like, no, we've destroyed the Earth enough to the point where there's never gonna be other species.
Like even just like
takes
future
over.
humans looking back on us, like thank God, like we're in the middle of the technological revolution. Like our brains have changed more in the last 50 years than they have in all of evolution before that.
Yeah.
That's
I
insane.
think it's gonna keep happening if you get like AI or something. Like,
Right now we only use 13% of our brain at most times.
I don't believe that.
Like no. You use all of it. Like it's not like there's like brain matter that's sitting there. You use your whole brain, but at one time,
At any moment.
you're only using like 13% of it. If you could like start using more of it, like say Albert Einstein used like 15%, not like 2%, like biggest
We
difference.
don't need all regions of your brain. Like right now, it wouldn't make any sense for you to just have like full activity in the amygdala, because that would promote an unnecessary amount of emotional response. Yeah, I used to be
That's true. That's actually a good
Oh,
point.
nice.
That's actually a good point.
Yeah.
It actually wouldn't make sense.
It doesn't make
use
sense
all of
for
our
me to
brain.
like have a lot of taste sense activity going on, because I'm not.
Yeah, you don't need all of like your senses and like you
A
don't
lot
need
of
to
the
be
brain is
using
just
all of
sensory.
If you could get one part of your brain to be better, what would you get?
Frontal lobe.
Yeah,
Frontal lobe?
prefrontal cortex,
Is that
for
just
sure.
like
That's
just
like your
spikes?
abstract and like logical reasoning and stuff. So
I'd go with
Planet.
reflexes.
reflexes.
Because I feel like
I have really good reflexes actually. 'Cause, like,
yeah.
I was going up an escalator a few weeks ago, and I had an apple in one hand and a water bottle like with an open top in the other, and I kind of like tripped when I was getting off, and I dropped both of them, and then I was like, well, damn, and then I just like grabbed both.
Crisscrossed
like,
arms.
when they were- yeah, I somehow grabbed both crossed arms when they were like, at my knees, and that was
Pretty proud of yourself.
the proudest moment in my life.
It's like the stupid reflexes we have. Like when you drop your phone now, it's like, oh, forget my foot under it, it'll be all good.
Yeah, you just
Oh,
kick
look.
it so like, I do that all the time. Like I drop something and I'll be like, oh, I gotta catch it. And I just literally just like kick it like 20 feet. I'm like, wow, like that was really successful. I just saved my phone. No, I just threw it. I just kicked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, my reflexes usually don't come in handy. They actually kind of like bite me in the butt. Like they try to help me, but they end up throwing stuff. Like I'll drop something and then I'll like fumble it a bunch and then I'll end up just like hitting it
Oh,
somewhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
One of my biggest pet peeves is just dropping things. Because like not only does it like suck, because then you have to bend down and pick it up and feel stupid, but it also makes a loud noise to just tell you how stupid you were.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's on the ground now. It's
Yeah.
not in your hands. It's not anywhere where it can serve some sort of function. It's just like it's in a different place.
Especially when you drop like an electronic
Yeah.
object and you're just like, oh my god, what did I just
It's like
do?
your phone drops face down. It's like,
Yeah,
well,
it's like-
gonna see.
yeah.
Oh,
It's
oh,
like-
it's good.
I look
Yeah.
like one of those irresponsible white girls that.
Oh man.
We're allowed to talk
At least you
about-
caught your mocha frappuccino.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got an iPhone, like my first smartphone this September. And like I was like, wow, like this screen, like, and I have a screen cover on it.
Yeah.
And so like people always ask me like, oh, is your screen cover? But it's actually just a screen cover. But like I didn't realize how slippery it was compared to like my old dumb phone, which is like a slider, because I could like drop that or like throw it and it would just be like,
Yeah.
just be like, oh, well, you know, it's a little crooked in this place now, but like, you know, it's fine.
The thing that I'm so bad about is I've got my phone in my pocket, right? Yep. So I was like, I don't know why, but like, the top of it's down. So you get it out, like flip it around to like, get it going, right? I've just thrown my phone, so I'm just like, whoa!
Yeah. Yeah, I've done the same. I do that with like pencils a lot. I'll be like playing around with the
Yeah.
pencil and all of a sudden, like I did this during the AP Psych exam. I was like thinking about what to write and I was like spinning it in my hand or something. All of a sudden I just like toss it across the table and I was like, oh, like sorry. And I just like,
Actually, we were just about to start the AP exam, and somebody sneezed really loud. Another person next to me was like, "God bless you," and Mr. Gill was like, "No, we don't need any of that." And I'm like, and then he just says, "No, I mean you can sneeze, you just can't say God bless you." I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Cause it's too loud, and it's gonna distract you." I wonder if that could be like a government case study.
and then people like kept sneezing and I wanted to be like, bless you, like scream and be like, oh no, like,
Is
no,
that
like,
suppressing our religious freedom?
God. It's like, I don't know, you get the class where, I mean, not that it's good to do, but like, if like someone gets up to do something, the teacher like gives them a look, so then you just like keep kind of a constant stream of people like getting a tissue, or sharpening a pencil, drinking water. I feel like we had to just blow up as a teacher.
Yeah. I like sometimes I look around the room and I'm just like, wow, this is chaos.
Yeah.
Like this is crazy. Like there's people walking around everywhere.
It
Like,
looked like anonymous student just walked into our government class today and just started talking to another person.
For my senior prank, I'm just gonna have my own personal one. I'm gonna get one of the I've got the breakfast in bed trays, tray. Just gonna bring my tray, put it down in class, and instead of bringing any books or anything with me, just gonna pack my entire backpack full of food, just apples and meat and cheese and olives,
Various
just everything. I don't exactly just all this stuff in jars. All this stuff jars and cans. I'm just gonna eat all day in every single class.
Have an
I'm just
adapter.
constantly going.
Have an iPhone battery, adapter, 6 of them, plug them into an extension cord, and just connect all your appliances.
that'd be awesome.
Andrew, can you stop the blender from going? I'm gonna get teach over that.
No, I can't hear you.
No. What? The Civil War? God.
Good.
No, I'm gonna do that.
War was
One of the last couple days of school.
You're not spoiled. Everybody's gonna know.
Dude,
All 90 people to watch the podcast. You know what?
wait, 90 people.
I like you guys.
Or was it
You're a
90?
good bunch.
Was it 90
I'm proud of
views?
y'all. You guys are fantastic.
And we've surprised Disney.
So,
I can't.
yes, sir.
Oh, shoot.
It's all good.
Sorry.
I built it from ground staff.
Shoot.
Yeah.
The special guest
shout
today.
Out to the janitors.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Good janitors.
Except for that one guy.
I never do that.
Really?
Yeah, no, I'm not that you did anything bad. But I guess people don't like to be called janitors, which makes sense, I guess.
Why?
It's janitor has a negative connotation.
I don't know. I
So
just
it's-
figured it's just
Yeah,
occupation.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was
I
figuring.
mean, I think it's just the same as saying teacher. I think they're.
Educated.
Yeah, exactly. I thought the exact same thing. But I was like a sophomore, and I'm like, oh, I'll go ask the janitors. They're like, oh, you mean buildings and ground staff?
Wait,
Like,
who said
what?
that?
They're like, it was. I can't even remember what teacher it
It was
was.
a teacher.
It might have been one of the English teachers. But yeah. So I'm like, oh.
I mean, I guess they do
Buildings
more
and
than
grounds.
janitor.
Yeah, exactly. That's the
Yeah.
thing.
Janiting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Kevin Hubbins and Colin Hoffman are janitors, that Holy Family.
Okay.
Custodians.
Custodial
Yeah.
associates.
And they just, I don't even think they're aware. They just call themselves janitors. But
Yeah.
I guess if when it's your occupation, you might see it differently.
Yeah. Do they do it at night, on the weekends, or?
They do it like they're working right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, careers.
like-
Talking about occupation.
I knew a guy who was a janitor actually here at Bay for the summer, and I saw an ad for that on the board
Yeah,
in Western.
they hired
But it was you had to work 6 days a week for 8 hours a day. Can't take more than 3 days off for the whole summer, and you got paid minimum wage. Which I mean,
Wait, really?
yeah, if you're working that much, because you're a student, right? If you're working that much, or no, maybe it was a bit more. Maybe it was $9 an hour or something. But if you're working that much, you're gonna make a lot of money. But at the same time,
You gotta
still,
devote your life.
that'd be your entire summer.
I mean, I think I'm working a lot this summer, but I can
Yeah.
I can switch shifts and stuff.
Exactly,
But that's rough.
But he said it was great though, because a lot of the days, you wouldn't have that much to do. It's not like you have to clean your stairs again
You
because
still
it's the
stay on
summer.
school property for 8 hours.
Yeah.
It's just like
But
you don't have summer break.
they said they messed around so much, they started crawling around on top of the ceiling tiles
He was
and
a
things.
student.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, speaking of ceiling tiles, these are a health hazard. These
Yeah.
are like
Hazard.
growth. I don't think you can see this, but
Our ceiling tiles here are not the best.
that's
Oh.
Can't win them all.
It's true. It's like when you hear the snow on top of the roof in the English ring, or the janitor's walking across. Sounds like it's just gonna collapse.
not janitor.
I'm so sorry. Yeah.
No.
The buildings and ground staff is.
Yeah. Do you have any classes where the water leaks in the room? Like in the English room, there's in my first hour class, if it's raining, there will be water leaking.
Just
And
have a
there'll be,
bucket.
trash cans. Yeah, yeah. And then I'll just be like, oh, and I'll go over it and not to really weird or anything, but I'll take a whiff and it'll smell so bad.
Oh yeah.
It'll
Terrible.
Feels gross.
Somebody in Mr. Glenn's class last year punctured one of the asbestos pipes.
Really?
Started spraying
Oh.
out some sort of hot gas.
Oh god.
And the temperature in the room got really hot. I don't know if it just messed up the heating system.
Did they evacuate?
No, we were considering it for a minute because it was
That's bad.
not how,
That's cancerous.
not how a building. I mean, thankfully we have building.
I messed up.
So
Buildings and grounds. No.
people in this. This is dirty. This is kind of
My lounge couch. So you guys both took AP Psych. I'll tell you about my childhood.
yeah, we don't
So,
want to know about your childhood.
My My parents were pretty nice, but you know, the green monster visited me a couple times a day.
That's why he's wearing a green shirt.
Let's do free association.
Tell us-
Wait, what's that?
tell
I'm
us-
down.
Tell us whatever.
So you guys say a word, and am I gonna say another?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright. Dad.
Baseball.
Mom.
Library.
Mom.
Abuse.
Movies. NFL. Ray Rice. Mayweather.
Trash cans.
The buildings and grounds.
Recycling.
Boyfish Bay doesn't.
That's a good one.
Green.
Okay, wait. I want to make a PSA real quick. Okay, the school would recycle if the students were responsible and threw their
It's
garbage
really,
in
like,
the
it's
correct
so
cans.
easy.
Really
It's
though.
really not hard. Just
It's
take
not hard.
1 second, separate your
Except-
stuff. The school will recycle.
Like, I'm
It's
gonna find a
because
way to
people are
afford, like,
naive.
air
They
or
don't
something,
care.
but-
They don't care at all. They're just like, I'm just gonna throw my garbage in the recycling and
throw
vice
my-
versa.
my-
I don't care.
Arizona.
I always thought that they didn't recycle no matter what, so I thought the cans don't matter.
No, you
No, they
gotta
do
you gotta
matter,
separate your
Andrew.
stuff. Then-
Why would they put two
I'm part
colors
of the
there?
problem.
That just
So
costs
no,
more.
because like I've seen the buildings and ground staff put them all in the same trash.
Well, that's
You know,
'cause they're-
because
they don't
people
have
are
any
because
choice.
people are terrible. But
Yes.
the thing was, I was like, maybe they just tried to teach us to be responsible people and separate our trash. So I'm like, well, if they're not going to recycle, then why should I separate? So I just put everything.
You gotta
I'm terrible.
separate.
Andrew, you're
They
part
would.
of the
I'm
problem.
part of the
Yeah,
problem.
You're the root cause.
I'm the root of all
And
evil.
you gotta know what's recyclable and what's not.
I mean,
you
it's
can't,
just, for me, it's just anything that's paper, first of all.
you can't recycle the caps on bottles. So
Why?
it's actually best to
They're
screw
like-
off the caps, throw the caps away, and recycle the bottles.
The caps are more dense, why would I throw them away?
Because you can't recycle them.
They can figure it out. When it gets to the machine,
No!
it's gonna-
But in the first place, you shouldn't even be drinking plastic bottles in the first
I
place.
mean, like, I've
'Cause
done
those
that
are
on-
single-handedly
Destroying
the worst.
America.
Yeah, the whole world,
Yeah,
not just America.
No,
But I mean, the only part of the world that matters.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Whoa.
No, that's
Hey,
your
guys!
Ooh.
Guys, America.
America. Okay, wait, can we talk about the American flag?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
so
I like
we could burn this right now, right? 'Cause, like,
Not
that's
school property.
not
so-
school property.
Wait, there's
But-
actually flames right
But it's a
outside the
public
flag.
school, so we
Symbolism.
That's actually like
That's pretty
major
ironic.
gaffe.
We didn't
I
plan for
I
that.
have no role in producing this show.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay,
Yeah.
but not that I disrespect America, but I mean I don't.
But you do.
And I respect the idea of the flag and the idea of the Pledge of Allegiance, like liberty and justice for all. Like it's the idea of the country.
Yeah.
And like I don't really like when people don't stand for the pledge because I think people should respect the idea
Yeah.
of like having.
I respect the idea.
freedom
I respect
and
the
liberty.
people that serve. But you know, it's the blind patriotism that could be scary. So like,
Yes.
I mean,
That-
I think
that's
you
what
want to
I'm
burn a
getting
flag? Go burn that flag. Go for it, man. You know.
We have the right to hate you, and you have the right to burn the flag.
Yeah, and it's like at the same time, like I want to say like be respectful, but like it's complacency that does not lead to any change. It's like
Doesn't help.
it's when people like defy the norm that creates change. So like though burning the flag may be disrespectful,
No,
it sends the message.
Yeah.
Like it gets the message.
But you know, like
across.
if you're protesting the Vietnam War, and you're like, gosh, you know, U.S. isn't really doing the best job here. Let's get people's attention.
Yeah,
You know,
but
like that?
it is really radical.
It's
also,
really-
which creates backlash.
Yeah.
Which creates the people that are like, I will stand by my flag forever.
And
Like,
then
and then
that
they get really into like fighting. Like in that instance, they may get
Yeah.
really pro Vietnam War.
God,
Just
it's
'cause,
funny
like,
as
the-
thing.
Because the people who oppose
I know.
it are now enemies of America.
So this guy, I was at Bachelor Boys State last summer, right?
Oh, really?
It was yeah. I don't know, it was a good way to boost up your college resume. So
Of course.
I mean, and it was a good time learning about America. Yeah. Thanks school
What
for
is-
sending me. And
What is Bradford Boys State?
Dr.
it's
Rose did it.
yeah, Dr. Rose did it.
Oh, of course.
Well,
Oh,
it's
is that that's the Congress thing, right?
it's sponsored by the U.S. American Legion, and they send 2 students from every high school.
I heard about that.
And you go, and it was like a week where you simulate like the nation and stuff. But this guy came to talk to us, and his entire speech was about how people supported the Vietnam War. Because you know, he's like, liberal media nowadays makes you think that it was all just protesters, but there were big protests in support of the war. Stuff like all that hokum they give you about global warming these days, but multiple scientists have come out and shown that it's fake. And we're just sitting there. Oh,
Wait,
okay.
Really? He said all
He
that.
straight up said that.
Wait.
I don't know. I honestly haven't read any research except for like the statistics in the videos, but like I haven't actually opened up like a scientific report.
The one scientist
data.
that's always cited just came out like as like being caught for like taking grant money. So I guess what he done, he was always like global warming's fake, global warming's fake. He was out of Australia, and it was just because oil companies would just throw grant money at him, just shower him in it. You know, he's like, do more research, you know, get more dead pelicans. And so then it's just going on. And so then it came out though, it's like you specifically said, yes, I'll get more anti-global warming research if you give me more money.
Yeah, that's
it's
a
like,
bad way to do it.
yeah.
So global warming is definitely.
Yeah.
That's what we're getting.
So what we really let's say is that global warming's fake and burn your flags and anything else you want because more carbon is good carbon.
I feel like I feel like this
Give the
podcast in
trees
the past few minutes has seemed flaming liberal.
Yeah. I mean,
But you know, you represent the conscience of the youth in America.
Yeah.
Good.
I
I mean, like,
you know,
it's hard to stay awake without just the smell of, burning American stripes.
it seems like our current generation growing up is way more liberal than the previous
I think
generation.
it's because
I think it's whitefish bay.
I
We're
know,
in this
yeah.
bubble.
Well, I don't know. I
They have
think
two
it seems
things
like
one thing is that it's the social stuff that our generation aligns very leftward on. Because I mean, I guess just because we grew up in a more socially not liberal as in the political sense, but liberal as in the freer sense, more open, more liberal times. So people are like, well, my friend's gay and I want him to be able to marry. If a friend of mine got pregnant and wasn't ready to have a child, I want them to have an abortion. So I think that we have we're more socially leftward leaning. So I think the entire political parties will have to realign eventually.
Yeah.
So just get social issues off the table. Accept that live your life how you want to live your life.
and that'll eventually become like the mid.
Yeah. So then the crux of it will become other issues because right now it's social stuff.
Which I think is
The
still,
predictions-
we're probably headed more in a left direction.
Predictions for 2030, if parties stay as they are, is 60% Democrat, 40% Republican. That has to be scary.
You have the trend with the demographics.
Yeah, the younger
immigrants,
voters and young people do vote.
immigrants, yeah,
There might be like a
Yeah.
libertarian kind of thing like
That would
Yeah, definitely.
That
see
would
more.
bring in more Republicans.
Yeah,
It's got to be
Because,
different from the Tea Party.
Libertarian, or you can get some old Republicans, more moderate Republicans, like the old Republican Party.
Yeah.
Let's move away from the social stuff. But no, I think the other factor with us being more liberal is just us being in Whitefish Bay. Because going to Badger Boy State, the people they come up and they're like, well, gay marriage isn't right because it's not in the Bible. Jesus wasn't having sex with any other men.
Adam
Well-
and Eve, not Adam and Steve. That's like the
God.
most irrational
Oh.
statement. People say it as if there's logic behind it. There's just it makes no sense.
Like,
I just don't. That's
I mean, if you go back 2,000 years, when Romans, they were pretty gosh darn bisexual.
yeah.
Romans,
the
like, they-
Greeks were just like
The orgies, that wasn't just one dude and 50 women.
that was like one dude and 10 dudes and 50 women.
Yeah, you know,
Four
it's-
dudes.
Anyone could be anyone. I mean, you guys ever seen the movie Spartacus?
No.
It was a movie about the Roman gladiator revolt, and it was a big movie from the 60s or something. But,
But people were like,
I'm Spartacus. Yeah, but there's this one moment where one dude's giving another dude a massage in a bathhouse, and he's like, "Do you like clams or do you like oysters?" And he's like, "Well, I like both clams and oysters."
Oh, that was the metaphor.
Yeah,
for
men and
women.
women. And so I guess there's a thing. And it's just I mean, they were a lot more liberal. But also, the thing is, with history books, when you're always writing about couples, you're writing about the ones that reproduce. Because their kids are the ones that are writing about it.
Yeah, that's
Someone reproduced to make that kid, And if you go way back to, times of, cavemen, yeah, it was more important to pop out more cavemen so, we didn't all get eaten by saber-toothed tigers. So, it's all good.
Yeah, but when people don't understand and say it's a choice, that doesn't make sense.
So
I'm not saying
there's
you have
a-
to fund
your
gay
narrow
marriage or
anatomy.
marry.
There was a neuroscience, Clive Baker, what's his name?
Oh yeah.
Levy, since you're near a computer, can you look up the name of the neuroscience presidential candidate? He announced about 3-4 days ago.
What?
I'm on.
And
What is?
he is a Republican, very Republican. And so it's one of his first things to do when he announced he was running for president. He's never had any political office. He was just a neurosurgeon. Neurosurgeon, I should say.
Oh wait,
Sam Wang.
no.
No, it's
Ben Carson.
Ben Carson, that's it. Ben Carson. Slide up Sam Wang. I mean, we don't know who you are.
Sam
We
Wang
won't-
came up first.
We won't slander you. But no, it was
slandered the other guy.
It was Ben Carson. I will most definitely slander Ben Carson. So he comes out and one of his first things is saying being gay is a choice because lots of people go into prison straight and come out gay. And at that moment, he stopped being a presidential candidate, lost all credibility as a neurosurgeon, and lost most of my respect for him as a human.
Hey,
I
you
don't know. I
could
think
just pray the gay away.
Hashtag pray the gay away. Oh, that's so dumb. It's like
Like your little secretary.
Vice did a thank you. Vice did a documentary where it was about the former leaders of the anti-gay church movement, like Pray the Gay Away, and they all have come out now and are fighting back against that movement. Because all the leaders of it said we were gay the whole time. We got married and everything, but we were lying to ourselves. We never stopped being gay. And so the entire movement. But the thing is, in America, in almost 48 states, you can send, or all 50 states maybe, you can send your kid to church-based leadership manhood camps, which are stop being gay camps. And if your kid's under 18, they can be sent there without consent.
What?
Which is insane. Yes, and there's all this legislation out there that's we need to pass, but we haven't. We're you can just straight up send your kid to a stop being gay camp
Yeah, the thing
without
is,
the kid's permission.
you have to you can't just say automatically any church camp. You can't
Yeah.
send your kids. You have to go through individually. And
Oh yeah, totally. But yeah.
One time I was at a church weekend camp, and they had a camp store, and a book that they had was a book about why gay marriage should not be legalized. And I was like, wait, is this the right thing to be to
It's
be
just not an
educating
issue.
these
It's
kids
not
on
an issue
right now?
you need to be bringing
Yeah,
up at
this
all.
does
I
not
never-
need to be addressed.
I never talk about gay marriage with my family or anything. It's just
I mean, it's a non-issue to
it's
me.
a non-issue to
I mean, if we're getting into political dogma, it's live your life how you want to live your life. I'll live my life how I want to live my life. I don't have all the answers. You don't have all the answers. Let's all stumble through it together.
Whenever I talk to my mom about it, it just kind of nothing gets resolved, and we just kind of agree to disagree. But
Really?
yeah.
Our family is just opinions and people
No
don't care what
opinions.
other people do
Yeah.
when it comes to.
Well, even if
I mean,
it is
people
against your religious beliefs, it's kind of
It
Louis
doesn't
C.K.'s.
affect you.
Yeah, Louis C.K.'s just I don't care. It doesn't affect me at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally,
It's
you guys
probably-
getting married could not could not affect me if I tried.
Well, actually, no, because if you. I was gonna make a joke, but it's.
Oh man, but no, it's tough, If you're gonna I don't know, there's some funny stuff though with laws. In Wisconsin, it's illegal for women to wear red on Sundays.
Oh yeah, I've seen stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Or in Tennessee, it's illegal to lasso a fish from a horse. There's stuff that
That's actually that's stupid. What if you
When
really
was that
believe-
legislation?
it's stuff that
passed?
senators are tossing. They're ha ha ha.
Oh,
We're
as
so funny, guys.
As in,
Ha ha ha.
pork,
Yeah.
Bill pork.
They'll toss it in at the very end of a bill.
Yeah, honestly though, because this show is rapidly, returning left on the
Steering wheel.
the political spectrum.
It's still comedy. Hey guys, it's still comedy. So
I'm gonna put.
take it all with a grain of
I'm
salt.
gonna bring up the issue of gun control because that is my.
I believe that I should have all of my RPGs. I have 6 right
I'm
now,
a terrorist and
but I can use them to burn the American flag. So I'm using them for self-expression. It's symbolic speech. It's protected in the Constitution. Hashtag Mr. Habercorn.
Shout out.
But one of the things was a senator in Texas, was trying to show how no one read the bills. So he put a bill in to erect a monument to a serial killer in Texas. He, instead of calling him serial killer, he said it was a radical visionary in population control. And it straight up passed unanimously. Everyone voted for it.
Because they just didn't even bother.
They didn't look him up. They had no clue. Insane.
Wait, so was there a monument made
I don't know.
with taxpayer money to make a monument for people
A serial killer.
who killed people who had family?
Yeah.
That's horrible.
It's
No, he
terrible.
was a visionary though.
He was a visionary for population.
Yeah.
That is true.
God.
This is a quality television.
This is really kind. Are there ticks in here? Bed bugs?
Yeah, if you get bed bugs,
It smells gross.
you can sue Michael Bloomberg. They all came from New York, anyways.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of bugs, I was at a restaurant the other day, and I got my food, and I got a burger, I think, and on the side was with pickle and tomato and stuff, and I pick up the tomato, pick up the pickle, and there's a dead ladybug.
Oh.
And I was just like, Well, I'm not gonna send it back because that'd be a hassle.
No,
so
no,
I
I
just
would
put it
definitely
back
like-
and I just didn't touch that. Like, is that gross? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
There are some, like, if I find a hair, I just don't.
I just
Past the
don't
point,
want to bother.
no one cares about making food anymore
The thing,
in
though-
a sanitary way.
I don't know if I've ever told this story on the podcast. I probably have. Because this was like so traumatizing, I felt like I needed to share it with the world. But, you know, like it wasn't Pepper Fish Farm, it was,
No.
what are the little, they're the Caramel Delights, but they're knockoff. They're like Keebler. Maybe Keebler or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're like the knockoff Caramel
Oh, yeah.
Delights.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah, they're fantastic, right? They're awesome. Cause like you know, you can have them, get your coconut
Also,
caramel and everything. Oh yeah, they're burning up the arteries like
Oh my
nothing
gosh,
else.
you like the nutrition facts on Girl Scout cookies?
Yeah, Girl Scout cookies, some of them are. I mean,
They're
like,
deadly.
But I mean, the thing is, you know, I can
Butter
eat like half a
sandwich.
package and it's all good.
Yeah.
I feel good. But no, so I get one. I bite into it. Straight up, there's a big black hair stuck through the caramel, going through the entire thing. I'm like, I put it back. I threw out the rest of the package. I'm like, I can't. Like, I'm not gonna stop eating these cookies, but I can't.
Well,
Is
no,
the
because,
whole
like,
I
package
feel like-
tainted?
I
I feel like it's
I
definitely
feel like
tainted.
you're less likely to get a hair in the next, like, series
Yeah.
of Oreos than just.
Like, I feel like I'm way less
once you
likely.
already have
But at
it.
the same time, I had something that was like attached to someone I've never met in my mouth.
Yeah,
I had to pull the hair out of my mouth.
I just like think about like ignorance is bliss in that sense.
Oh,
because
yeah.
I don't even want to think about it. Like you know how like have you ever heard that like rats? There's like rat pee on like soda cans and stuff.
Yeah.
I'd rather just not
Why
think
would there
about
be
it
rat pee? on
because
soda
they're
cans
like
in
canned in
particular?
factories and like there's rats running
No.
wild and like factories that have like that like or if you look at like wrappers that say like may contain peanut like they don't know.
Yeah.
Like the like
It's like
that's bad because like they don't know what's going
So-
into their food.
Well,
So,
they're making
there's
stuff,
a-
they have different, like, production.
They've got these standards, yeah. You can have no more than 8 insect parts in any bar of chocolate. Which means that on average there are like 6 bug legs in a bar of chocolate.
That's
like,
disgusting.
I'm sure
Yeah.
it's not the same for every batch. I'm sure they don't even measure that. So I just believe that's a BS statistic.
Yeah.
And if you think about the food we eat today, like it's normal for us.
Matter.
But like if you think about like primitive humans, they would be
Yeah.
so weirded out. They'd be like, "What is this hard candy? Like,
Yeah.
like what is candy?
Why are you
What
doing
is this?
this?
What are you eating? Like, this is just like goo and like.
There was a-
what? This isn't like nutrition. This is bad.
No,
They
there's this,
also
there's this,
died from them.
it's back in the 70s. There's this peanut butter. There's like, I'm gonna get the name wrong. There's something like Mr. Nutty's Extra Crunchy Peanut Butter.
Bye.
Right?
Where are you going, Nick?
Nick, you coming back? Oh, well, I guess we're gonna have to end the podcast there. No, it's
What?
pranked.
I'm so confused.
He got him.
He
though.
got
The
us.
best senior
Got
prank
him.
of the year.
Senior prank. No, so there's like Mr. Nutty's like extra crunchy peanut butter, and turns out it was like extra crunchy, like crunchy.
Sand
Yes,
in it?
no, the crunch was actually rat dung, like straight rat dung. The peanut butter.
I'm looking this up.
It's, go ahead, look up like yeah, you can check it out.
Like,
There's
this is like a.
rat dung in peanut butter. They were shut down so hardcore. But man, think about like that. I'm sure that was somebody's favorite kind of peanut butter.
Oh, yeah.
Someone had that on their sandwich every day when they went to the office.
I would be shattered. I'd be like, I've been eating rat poop for this long. Like what? But isn't there still bat poop? And like,
Guano.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's addictive. It's
I don't
supposed
see
to,
this
and
anymore.
like that's what keeps you like eating junk food, right? The
Yeah.
bat poop.
So in our chocolate, for people that aren't from the U.S., they think that our chocolate smells like vomit, because what we do, we take out the cocoa butter from our chocolate to use it for like like lip balm and like cocoa butter when you get ashy.
Yeah,
you guys all have that problem.
Oh, yeah.
So we rub our cocoa butter on. But so they take out the cocoa butter from the cocoa when they're making chocolate, and they replace it with like fat extracts.
Why? I didn't
And
even
so
eat milk chocolate. It's like, it's not.
so that stuff, those extracts, have some of the same chemicals that vomit has in it. So technically, like our chocolate smells like vomit to other people. But for
US
us,
food is disgusting. Like it's
processed
actually
food. Oh
gross.
man, it's so
Wait.
bad.
I
Wait.
want to think that I only eat natural food.
Do you find it?
Close.
Okay, so this is a government study from 1995 or a guideline. The food defect action levels.
Yeah, this is it.
Levels
These are
of
the
natural
guidelines.
or unavoidable defects in foods that present no health hazards for humans. and
Yeah,
that
that's
include
where you get like the 8
food
chocolate
contamination from maggots, thrips, insect fragments, mold,
Yeah.
rodent hairs, and
Yeah.
feces. I
Oh,
feel like
sweet up.
feces might have potential.
bites. Yeah, no,
health
these
effects.
are real things.
That's
They
all
they
in
started.
processed foods.
Well, yeah. Like it's
Wait,
just
okay.
Oh,
For example, the
gross.
limit of insect contaminants allowed allowed in canned or frozen peaches is specified in 12 1-pound cans or equivalent one or more larvae or
One
larval
larvae?
fragments whose aggregate length exceeds
Think-
5 millimeters.
Oh my god, think like you open up your peaches and just like this straight larva.
That's
That-
actually
oh.
disgusting.
Additional examples. Oh my god.
I don't want to think that like bugs are like bad. for
Canned
you,
apricots.
because they're actually really
Yeah, like, I
high in
don't-
protein.
That's my thing, like I don't
So-
care if I drop something on the ground, I'll eat it. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't.
Like I'll
really
pick it up,
care.
even if like, I don't know, if like anywhere, 'cause I don't care.
Chocolate. 60 or more insect fragments per 100 grams.
Yeah, 60 more insect
You know how much a
fragments per
gram
100
of
grams.
chocolate would be? Like, that's
One-
6.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait, that's actually disgusting.
How much is the average chocolate bar, I wonder?
I mean,
I bet it's
peanut,
like 100 grams.
probably less. I mean,
Oh, probably less, yeah, you're right.
peanut butter, average of 30 or more insect fragments per 100 grams.
But yeah, no, the last thing I'll do, I'll try to look up this case to try and find like Mr. Skippy's rat poop peanut butter.
Was it Mr. Sticky?
I don't remember who it was.
There's already
Okay,
a
here
Skippy
for our
brand.
adult viewers, hops, that we put in beer, a lot of beers. The safe limit, the acceptable limit by the government is 3,500 aphids per 100 grams.
3,500
per 10 grams.
per 10
That's
grams
insane.
of beer.
That's
of,
so
of,
much.
hops, which they put
Hops.
in like beer. It's like a major.
Oh my god. 3,500
Oh,
aphids? That's so many lives.
Okay.
So many lives that cost.
Okay, time.
For
Yeah,
just,
time
just a
that
few
spice.
hops.
Wait, no, nutmeg. 100 or more insect fragments per 10 grams. Cinnamon. 400 insect fragments per 50 grams.
Okay,
Shredded
why are
carrots.
these factories so rampant with bugs? Like, do they not fumigate? Like, what is? What
It's insane.
That's ridiculous.
I can't find it. But yeah, you know, it was definitely a thing where like, just like straight rat poop was the crunch.
That's gross.
It's, I mean, and I guess if you think about it, like,
God.
although, I heard someone explain this to me once, and they said like, yo, your food is grown in the dirt. It's picked by someone whose hands you've never seen. It's put on a truck. That truck is in the open air. That truck goes to a factory. It's touched by someone you've never seen. It's then put onto another truck, pulled out of the truck, stacked to the supermarket where everyone and their little kid will pick it up, put it up their nose, put it back. We take it home, we wash it off, we cut it up, we drop it, and it's useless now. Like that, you know,
That's really true.
so much.
Like, I don't mind like the ground. That's where food comes from.
I guess it's
everything after that.
like the blissful
I'm not gonna
ignorance,
argue
you know?
against the
Yeah.
It's like,
globalization thing.
I don't care as long as I don't know. But like if I see a bird come and take a dump on my hot dog, maybe not.
Yeah, that's kind of gross.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, it's also a hot dog, so it's already
Yeah.
pretty
Oh
gross.
god.
You know, hot dogs are, they're good for you. They have a lot of,
A lot of nutrients, a lot of
a lot of
cartilage.
omega-3, a lot of.
So when I was a kid, I learned that when you have a crunch when you're eating a hot dog, it's a bit of the intestines. And I've
Yeah,
never forgotten that fact.
Oh, it's not
Like-
the whole thing.
like,
I'm not really
is
grossed out by
intestine.
that because that's just
It's
like,
probably
And like I'm
bone,
not
which is
grossed out.
just part of
It's
the
like
problem.
I'll eat stuff like liver and everything, but it's always weird to think about like think about when they're just like goopy inside of something else.
yeah.
Is there anything that you guys just won't eat? Like for me, it's onions. You know, it's silly.
Yeah,
I,
I
just-
like
I can't deal with onions.
raw onions. I like
Raw or even
grilled-
cooked. They,
grilled
just,
onions
they
I love.
contaminate everything.
But other things
What
I
about
won't
you?
eat. I don't like. I like pretty much all foods. So this is hard.
I'm with you. Like I go to different countries. I always play the game where I pick what looks most interesting on the menu
And
and
I
go
never
for it.
like it.
See, I always
That's my
I
problem.
like it half the time.
especially like if it's in a different language. When I was in Spain, my dad was working there, so I got to go over. And I just found the word that looked cool, so I pointed at it and told. So I ended up getting cuttlefish. They brought it out with like all the tentacles and everything. It was fantastic. It was really cool.
I was like, I got like this weird like Armenian dish one time, and I was like trying to be really adventurous, so
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not gonna get like this stereotypical like American dish. I got it, and I was like eating away at it, and I was like, this is really
Well,
gross.
some countries
like,
have
I don't like
terrible
this.
but
I mean, it's just like what they're accustomed to. I
Yeah.
guess it's just like what's standard to you.
England, it's just like they have this sausage, and Germany also eats this. It's called Blutwurst.
Lung sausage.
Yeah, and
Oh.
I thought it was just sausage that they left the blood in, but no, they actually take the blood, they let it congeal,
Yeah, it's
and then
congealed
they just
blood.
bake it, and that's
It's straight
you
blood.
know, you get the blood and the lipids in the blood, and that's your.
That's
Yeah.
gross. My dad worked at Singer's, and like,
Oh.
and like he still eats like a lot of sausage. Like he likes it
So
still.
he knows everything.
Yeah, but he says the one thing he won't eat is head cheese, and I didn't know what that was. But I guess it's
It just
like
sounds
it's
terrible.
Yeah, I thought it was
Cheese.
an actual cheese, but it's just literally like mush made from like animal like head. or
I've had like
something.
I've had sweet meat,
Maybe
just
I'm
brains. And brains aren't bad.
I would
I
actually,
would eat that because you get there's a risk
you
of,
get
like,
smarter. Works
Yeah.
The risk of getting smarter, I might figure out how all my food's made. And I'm
I
screwed from there.
I would eat brain. I would. I mean,
No,
'cause, like,
there's some risk of like diseases that are pretty much incurable.
I've had like turkey heart. So,
Nice.
Yeah, heart's good. I mean, heart would be like.
yeah, I mean it's,
Well,
got those.
It's got some
protein
heart.
nutrients, yeah. Would you ever
Oh.
drink raw blood from like a cow neck?
I don't know.
You see that? It's
It
in
depends if
rituals.
I'm like in some sort of
This will be the
making
last
of
thing we
animal.
talk about, but it's in like some rituals with some tribes where in like
They're just
Africa.
like nutrients.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like some of them, you know, they're like cut a cow's vein and it'll like be under a bowl and they all drink it. But like even if I was in like the middle of the desert, I think I'd drink my own urine before I drink like an animal's blood.
I would probably drink blood first because then you know you're getting some protein, not just like the
Iron.
sodium.
A lot of iron.
Yeah, you're getting the
Oh.
good stuff.
It's probably not.
Maybe I feel like blood though, like urine, gross. But I feel like it's like lighter, so I can just like swallow it down. Whereas like blood, you'd have to like you'd feel that in your mouth.
There's a lot of-
all there.
Plus there's a lot of
Yeah,
cells
it's
and
kind of
antigens.
viscous.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'd maybe just like down it or something.
I would go for the urine.
Yeah.
Sure.
What if it's someone else's?
It's like water. Well, I mean, why would be someone else's?
I don't know.
But what if
Yeah,
you're
Bear Grylls
it's
got
your
drink
own
your own
Yeah, but
piss.
that's your own.
Yeah, but what if
Yeah.
dude? What if you're in a group and you can't go? You need some liquid.
I can go.
God. I wonder how long the cycle could continue. If you're just in like the middle of the desert, just peeing and drinking and peeing and drinking and peeing.
I wouldn't want to find
It's
out.
just- Well,
I think we have
on that fantastic topic, I want to thank you guys for being
Actually,
on the
I
podcast
think
today.
that gives us an idea for our next.
Yeah, that'll tune in next week for
Be in the goat desert.
the cycle of life represented through urine.
We'll be doing
Uh,
some research.
Yeah, we'll report back. I want to thank
I would never be
Miss
on this
Cook
show
and Miss Medved. I want to thank Mr. Wepfer and Mr. Gustafson for all making this possible.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you guys for watching. We had a good time.
Yeah, you
Happy
too,
Cinco de
man.
Mayo. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Toodles.